Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Brady from Late Weather Forecasts, and this afternoon we're going to be doing a video on Tropical Depression 14 and Tropical Storm Laura, which will soon to be Tropical Storm Marco and Tropical Storm Laura at the same time. And at this pace, pretty soon we're going to have it. Two storms simultaneously in the Atlantic and potentially in the Gulf at the same time, which would be extraordinary. So without further ado, let's get started here. We take a look at this satellite loop on the left. Again, this is Hurricane Tracker app. If you do not have it, highly recommend that you get it. The low-level spin is looking real good on this for sure. Plenty, that's not the concern. For sure, convection has been sort of the storm's bubbling around the center. That has been the primary concern throughout the day, as convection to the north and east was taken away from some convection towards the low-level center. And now that we have this convection really starting to pop, it's going to start to intensify here. And I'll refresh it, looking at it very closely, and had another update. And it is definitely popping. You could tell it's started around trying to depict when, around 4 o'clock ish. Yeah, about 4 o'clock it really started to take off, and now we are on our way to a tropical storm for sure. Sorry, I was just looking at my television for a second. And we can see it really starting to bubble up, have some lightning happening a little bit around the center too. That's always an indication of strengthening. But again, we look at this, the visible satellite. This is Weather Nerds, by the way. Shout out to them, they do a fantastic job. Here's Weather Nerds. You can really see the spin happening there. Much more spin on this than Laura. And it looks like it's moving north. It does not look like it's exactly approaching the Yucatan Peninsula right now. It looks like it's moving north to me. And it's the latest cone shifted it north. Take a look at that. The latest cone now has it barely scraping the Yucatan Peninsula and eventually becoming a hurricane. If this barely scrapes the Yucatan Peninsula and really intensifies overnight, so we're looking at potentially a Saturday night landfall. In 24 hours, who's to say that this could not become a Cat 1 hurricane before that landfall? And if it barely scrapes, who's to say it can't become a Cat 2 hurricane when it gets back into the Gulf? So these are my concerns from potential Marco, which will be Marco very soon. I believe by 8 p.m., the 8 p.m. advisory, we will have Marco. So that is why Marco is really standing out to me. The low-level spin for sure, convection popping, everything pointing in the right direction. The deep ocean heat content, which I've been talking about for a couple of days now in these videos, it's very important to the development of this system, and it has a lot of things just going in its favor. When we see that, that's not always a good indication for people living in the Gulf right now. Take a look at another infrared satellite view. Same thing, just different colors. We can see it's starting to pop there. It's been popping all down the northeast side, and this is what you never want to see. That models spread out so much like that, anywhere from Corpus Christi all the way to central Louisiana, to eastern Louisiana even. That's never good. Never good when we see such spread out models like that. And I think the more east this goes, I think we could potentially, I'm not going to say anything, but the track will be a little bit important depending on how much shear we'll be able to get into the storm as it approaches landfall. That's what I'll say about the track and intensity factors for that. Take a look at some of the National Hurricane Center graphics. It is currently moving northwest 13 miles per hour. I would say it's moving a little bit more of north-northwest right now, rather, and they're just trying, based on the models, they're trying to help verify that a little bit. I'm not going to criticize the National Hurricane Center. They do a fantastic job with everything. So if they believe it's moving northwest 13 miles per hour, I'll say it, but I'm going to go and say that I think it's rather moving north-northwest at 13 miles per hour rather instead. But we can look at tropical storm force probabilities, wind speed probabilities. That is never good when we see such a broad range. The whole entire Gulf Coast, the whole entire Gulf is covered. It is covered in some sort of probability for tropical storm force winds. That is incredible. That is unbelievable. Matter of fact, I'm gonna screenshot this in the middle of the video. That is incredible. Absolutely incredible. I will post that on my Twitter. That is that I have never seen that before. I have never ever seen that before in my entire life following the weather. That is quite incredible. Here are the earliest probabilities, or sorry, the most likely probability of seeing tropical storm force winds. Looks like Monday for Louisiana and potentially Monday night for Texas. So that's what we're looking at right now. So prepare for that. The key messages, if you want to stop and read them, go ahead. By all means, they're also available on the National Hurricane Center website. Slide down sea surface temperatures. Yeah, they're more than warm enough, let's say. I mean, come on, 31 degrees Celsius. That's just too warm. That is incredibly warm. That's never too warm, but that is just very, very warm and very indicative of support for tropical development, which is not exactly what we need simultaneously with more tropical development in the other part of the Atlantic that will be shifting west. But you can see some of the intensity models, all of them having to come pretty close to Cat 1 strength. See, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 models have it becoming Cat 1. And trying to see how many more come close. 7 as a 70 mile per hour tropical storm plus. Others, and this is because we can see others have more land interaction. See all those models with land interaction? We can discount those, the red and the blue out there. Global model right there, that's one. That's wrong. And the CO2 2, I'm not exactly sure what that model is, but discount those because those are just too far west of what the track is likely to be. So I don't believe that's going to happen. I don't think this is going to be a Corpus Christi hit. Make that clear. But again, things can change. It looked like it was going to be a Houston hit for Harvey a few years ago, and then it shifted to Corpus Christi. I'm talking about the direct wind field from it, so not exactly the rainfall. Everybody in East Texas got hit by the rain. Microwave imagery, not impressive. Definitely not impressive, the microwave imagery for sure, but I'm sure that will improve for sure. Wind shear, we'll take a look. Not too bad. Right now in the Gulf, there's a lot of it. There's a ton of it, and that might limit some of the intensity that we're seeing, but that's going to move out. So that's going to move out, but you can see on the very, very left side of the screen that there's going to be some shear that's going to be working against it. When we look at the vorticity, this has not been updated in a little while, so I'm almost certain that is stronger. Yeah, that's definitely stronger. By now, Laura's vorticity, though, continues to improve, I've noticed. The vorticity is quite impressive on Laura, even though this is how you can tell if a tropical system is really that healthy. We can see the vorticity on it, and it is quite healthy. Laura, even though it doesn't look too great from its appearances, you gotta see the true inside of the system, and it has a pretty good core, it appears, from the vorticity signatures. And we can see the spin happening on both systems, and even even from our West African wave. I'm sorry, I'm spinning out wrong things right now, but even from our wave coming off the coast of Africa, You can see a lot of things spinning. So we're going to get back now. I'm going to try and quickly go through lore, which I didn't want to do, but I'm trying to keep my videos shorter now. More people like to watch when it's shorter. Not good attention spans, I guess. I don't blame them. I don't have one either. Good one, I guess, but... you can see here the map. It's a 45-mile-per-hour tropical storm moving due west at 17 miles per hour right now. Tropical storm warnings are up for the northern parts of the Leeward Islands, as well as Puerto Rico and northern coasts of Haiti and the DR, the Dominican Republic as well. So that is where we're standing right now. And also, eastern parts of the Bahamas are under tropical storm watches. Alert your folks that you know that live there that they're going to be experiencing some tropical storm conditions. So I would very much alert anybody you know of this coming. And we'll take a look. Here's the visible satellite. It's not too impressive, I'm not going to lie, okay? But we can see, we'll take some new convection pop in there on the infrared. So we're going to take a look at that right now. And, okay. It doesn't look too great. It's like 3 bands of convection, that's really it. So again, it does not look too great, but there is definitely, it almost looks like it formed a center on the convective appearance. That's pretty cool. That's fun to look at. But this is definitely not too strong right now, but will gain strength, I believe. As long as it stays north of the land, it will gain strength, and that is not where the center is, by the way. But you should know it's going to gain some latitude, and if it stays north of the islands, stays north of the land, it will intensify. And so that's why they're forecasting it to be a hurricane eventually down the road, getting into the open Gulf waters, potentially those warm Bahama waters. Those are just some good ingredients for intensity. So we're going to fast forward here. National Hurricane Center graphics. We can see here they're predicting more land interaction. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. Actually, I can't be certain. If there is land interaction, that's definitely going to inhibit and not allow as much intensity to happen. But we'll see what happens over the next 12 to 18 hours, and we'll see how much this storm is able to intensify. And or how much it gains latitude too will also be important to see how this develops as well for track purposes, or for intensity purposes. Sorry, if you want to pause and stop and watch the key messages, feel more than free to. I'll slide slowly through them so you can read them. Here we look at the sea surface temperatures. Again, I mentioned we go into the Bahamas are very warm, 29 degrees Celsius. Water temps, it is now about to enter, or has entered 29 degrees Celsius temperatures and moving towards potentially 30 degrees Celsius waters in the Bahamas. So very warm sea surface temperatures, plenty of fuel there. Some of the models, still an outlier, still wants to take it up the East Coast. That dude's been drinking a little too much, I guess, but most of the models are pretty indicative. Some even sliding very, very far west into Texas. If there's a double landfall within a 50 to 100 mile vicinity, that is going to cause a lot of problems, and that's my concern. So this is not looking too good if I live in Louisiana and Texas, or for that matter, even Mississippi and the southern coast of Alabama. Not looking too great. And we can see the intensity. A lot of models have this getting to hurricane strength. Point that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 out of, I believe, 14 members. 9 of about 15 it looks. So 60% of the models indicating there will be a hurricane some point in its lifetime. That's a lot of members. So that's why the National Hurricane Center has it being has it being hurricane strength when it gets in the Gulf, and GFS really sliding this to the west. Ensemble members, GFS does not show this, but the GFS ensemble members are in agreement of basically a Cat 1 hurricane to Louisiana and shifting very far west. Track appears to be shifting more and more west for the past few days. And we'll take a look at the microwave imagery of Laura. And, well, it's stronger than 30 knots. There you go, 40 knots now it is. And yeah, not all too impressive, but good enough for a 45-mile-per-hour tropical storm. Weak wind shear. Not a lot of that for it to deal with, but it appears there is some sort of dry air limiting it right now. And again, the vorticity image on Laura is quite good looking. So that is why Laura cannot be slept on. If Laura is able to avoid a lot of that land interaction, that's going to be very impactful on the intensity. And if it does avoid land completely and slides just north of the DR, Puerto Rico, and Cuba, that's going to allow for a lot more strengthening for sure. And we could be looking at a major hurricane in the Gulf down the road, or potentially near the Keys. So you have to continue to stay tuned to the National Hurricane Center advisories and updates. I will be providing another update. I want to do another one later tonight. We'll see how that goes and how it progresses. If there's a lot of new information that has happened, I will probably do another video. If there isn't much that has happened, then I won't do one. But I think Marco is really going to start to take off tonight, so we'll watch how that develops throughout the night. All right, that's going to do it for me from Elite Weather Forecasts, and we'll see you later. Peace.